Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Matt and it is Fiendish Friday. Yes, 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 folks, it is already TGIF. Yes, it is finally upon us. Before I get to anything else, I do want to wish you guys a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk, whenever it is you're watching this. I hope you're having a great time. Please do me a favor and like, share, and subscribe. I love seeing each and every one of you every Monday through Friday, depending my schedule, which is why I wasn't here yesterday. Schedule just got away from me. And then, of course, major holidays, I will not be here. I'll be doing the whole family shindig, all that kind of stuff. But either way, and then also check out the information in the description box. I got you the brief synopsis, starring cast, director, runtime of the cut I am watching, MPAA rating, if there is one that exists. But let's face it, folks, most of the movies I review do not have one. What else do I put in there? Some trivia, and then either a link for a trailer or a scene from the movie itself. It is very, very rare when I do not find one or do not post one. It has only happened probably 4 or 5 times in the couple years I've been doing reviews. But either way, and I do a lot of reviews. Either way, it's definitely more information in there for you guys, so do check that out. I go out of my way to really give you guys as much as I can so you can get a bigger taste of the daily film, so maybe you'll decide to check it out or not. Alright, now that I got that out of the way, let's roll on to the film of the day. This one came out all the way back in 1995. Yes, folks, it's hard to believe this is 26 years old now. This is none other than Evil Ed. What a friggin' treat this one is. It is a blast. And this is the Arrow 3-disc release on this. This is not the standard issue release. This is the special edition. It does have the reversible artwork with the newly commissioned stuff right there. It's pretty cool. I like it. It's got some of the creatures in there. Definitely has a lot of stuff that's going on with the film there, and I do really like that one, but I am a purist, so I always go with the original artwork that they put down, or at least the artwork that they give us. It does come with a nice thick little booklet on the movie itself, and it is 2 standard issue pressed Blu-rays and 1 standard issue pressed DVD. Now the first Blu-ray and the DVD both have the special edition of the film, which runs at, I forgot to put that down there for me in my notes, but either way, it runs at like 99 minutes. Yeah, that's right, 99 minutes. So, an hour and 39 minutes. That's not a bad run time. It's normally 93 minutes, so it's got that 6 extra minutes on there. There's definitely, you notice the difference, especially on the gore side, and some of the stuff on the story side as well. Some of the, there's just stuff that's deleted, and they talk about the amazing beaver rape scene, and where she gets her head blown off with a bazooka. How could you go wrong with that? I mean, it's loose limbs. That's all I can say. This movie, this is, by the way, this is the Arrow release, if I didn't tell you that. You got the first disc and the third disc are the special editions. The second disc has the original cut, and I believe another cut on there. I believe there's 2 cuts on that as well. Either way, there is several cuts that are in this special edition one. There is a standard issue release of I believe it is just a single issue pressed disc, and I think it is just the extended cut. I don't know if they have the regular cut on there with it. They may. I'm not 100%. Either way, what else do we have on here? There's 4 featurettes. One where the making of it. One where they talk about the short films beforehand that inspired this, and then the stuff afterwards. Deleted scenes, new scenes, which was kind of weird to see that. All kinds of stuff. It's very much worth your while to track down the special edition version. It is definitely a lot more pricier. Oh, excuse me. If anything, do get it. Check this movie out. I believe it's also streaming on Amazon Prime, if memory serves me correct. I think I saw it on there. If you have Prime, I believe it was for free. So definitely. Now, as far as what is the movie about, it is about this guy named Ed, obviously. Ed is a editor, a film technician, as they call him overseas. He goes through it and he cuts films and cuts what needs to be taken out and re-edits it back together. He has a very, very important job, in my opinion, when it comes to film, because he can make or break a film, because he is there he has been transferred to or not the new department, but to this department that's new to him, called the Splatter and Gore department, where he's charged with the task of going through and editing these loose limb series, which is kind of a jokey series, that slasher series that was made here. That's a fake movie series that was made here in the States, and they're showing it over in Europe right now. And they're getting ready to edit a bunch of the stuff. Unfortunately, because of censorship over there, they have to edit out a bunch of the violence, the gore, and the sexual stuff. So that's his job, is to go through it and be an eraser. In other words, he goes through and erases all the good stuff. Leaves us with little fragments of what was there at one point. But either way, that's what his job is. Now, before we get to him, there is a guy at the very, very beginning, a different man who is doing the editing. He is very disheveled, looks like hell, looks like bed sores all over his face, hair all crazy wild in his undies, but he is gone completely off the deep end from editing these films, to the point that to where these people, both him and Ed, are hallucinating visual and audio stuff, to the degree to where it makes them like freak out and do these bombastic, just crazy things that are just not normal, like the editor at the very beginning that I've been talking about. He destroys a bunch of footage and then sticks a hand grenade in his mouth and blows himself up. It's and then right after it's done, the blood flies all over the head honcho of the European department, and he just responds with, "You're fine." After the dude just blew his own head off, he still managed to fire him afterwards. It's like, wow. It goes to show the joke, like, they're joking about how cutthroat film can be, and especially how editing can really affect stuff, because over in Europe, in Sweden, where this was made, they had a huge problem with censorship there. Like, they didn't want a lot of violence, gore, sexuality, nothing that really pushed the boundaries. So they really pushed the boundaries with this, as a big FU towards the board of censors there. I'm sure they ran into many problems just to get this bad boy released. Just the original release of it, I'm sure that was just a task in its own. Now, as these guys are rolling along through this movie and they're hallucinating, it's to the point to where they're seeing little creatures. Like, Ed sees this little green creature that's like living in his refrigerator, eating all of his stuff. Tells him to shut the door and shit like that. You know, the guy is it's a little creature. It's kind of mouthy. It flips him off at one point. It makes you giggle. This is one of those movies. I would say, if you like Cemetery Man or early Peter Jackson, Dead Alive, like, specifically, if you like stuff like that, you might like this because it is very along those lines of that. It is a very splat stick uh, kind of humor to it. It's very silly. Even like Reanimator is another one that I would say this really is kind of like a love letter, to those sorts of films, and it really works. And these fellas over in Sweden, God bless them for doing the job that they did, because it is one of the most entertaining movies I have watched in years, because I had a hard time finding a copy of this for years. When they re-released this a few years back, I jumped on it right away and pre-ordered it because I knew that I was missing out on something great. And boy, am I glad I did, because not only is the movie itself entertaining as hell, but the movie within the movie is movies within the movie are entertaining as hell. The Loose Limbs franchise, where the guy talks like this. Why are you looking at me? It's kind of funny, he kind of sounds like, don't you fucking look at me. He kind of looks like, or sounds like, Bill Moseley as Chop Top in Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. He kind of reminds me of that a little bit. It's quite humorous, and I absolutely love it. It's just so over the top, and it works. This whole movie works from beginning to end. So, like, as this movie is progressing, the more shit is happening as far as these hallucinations go. His boss shows up at one point and ends up getting killed because he's turns into a hallucination. There is this kid that is an absolutely obsessed about gore films, like most of the people that watch my reviews, were at least we like them a lot. Maybe not obsessed, but we enjoy them quite a bit. But either way, he's a regular horror file, a horror hound. I really like it. He is the one that has to bring him all these films, and so he has little interactions with Ed that is very bizarre and off the wall, and really uh, cliche stuff. There's a lot of cliche slasher tropes in here, a lot of horror tropes that they're making fun of, and it's absolutely great. And they're doing little jokes and nods towards other movies as well while they're doing it. It's just an astonishing film from beginning to end, and there's a perfectly good reason why I left it for Friday, because this is one I absolutely love and adore. I've seen it like 4 times now, and I am ready to watch it for the 5th time. I've watched the special edition, the original cuts. I watched both those cuts. They're both very good, and you can tell. Yes, you can tell the difference between the two. Now, as far as anything else that I want to give to this story, there is a little love story going on between that kid that is bringing him the films, and he has a little girlfriend. There's a little love story going on there. There is a rocky relationship between Ed and his wife over the films. He was a very, as they say on the back of the thing, and I wrote down on there, mild-mannered man. He's very chill. One of those guys that I imagine it took a lot to really upset him, but he does this complete 180 change and becomes just this completely different type of person. It's polar opposite. It is absolutely uh, um, it's really cool seeing him go through that transformation, that metamorphosis into this creature, this this murderous editor that's lost his absolute mind. He picks up a nurse by her throat at one point. She looked like an old candy striper. I'm not gonna lie, because she was dressed kind of risque and slutty for a nurse. But either way, picks her up or a doctor. That's what she was. Either way, that's a fun scene. You have a nice little shootout at the end inside the hospital where the final showdown is at. You have another shootout inside the house where he's editing between him and these thugs that break into his house and that are trying to steal whatever they can. At one point, even as a joke, they're pulling stuff out of the trunk. These two baddies, and one of them pulls out a little tiny crowbar and just goes, Rudy. Oh my god, I about pissed myself laughing because all I could think of was Evil Dead and Ash, getting ready to go kick some ass. But either way, definitely. As far as any kind of ratings would go on this one, on a 1 through 5 technical side, I'm going to give it a 3. It's middle of the road, could be a little bit better than what it is as far as it could have just a little bit more to it. The story does bog down and get a little slow and boring in places. I will be the first to admit it. There's probably a couple of minutes here and there where I find myself like nodding off or like wanting to pick up my phone or getting distracted or whatever it is. But I always push through it. But either way, that's the one thing that really brings it down is there's a couple of little slower spots in it. I don't really want to put an exact finger on something, but it's just little tidbits here and there. As far as an entertainment side goes, though, this thing's a 4 out of 5. This is like a 7 out of 10 kind of movie, in my opinion. This is. I feel I'm firm on that 7 out of 10. I believe that's exactly where this belongs. It is not mid tier. It should be towards your top tier horror films right here. Nobody talks about Evil Ed enough. I really wish you guys would definitely go out of your way and stumble over yourself to check out Evil Ed. Awesome stuff. Now, first before I get out of here, I do hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see y'all on Monday, and as usual, peace.